In February 1987, my husband and I, with our 2 toddler sons, picked up and moved cross-country to Salt Lake City, Utah. As soon as we got out there, I immediately started calling preschools, hoping I could get my little boys in so they'd have interaction with kids their age. But it was Salt Lake City, Utah. Everybody has 5 or 6 kids, and they kind of laughed at me and said they'd been filled up. They're booked up for years. But they suggested I call the Hogle Zoo. It was the big zoo out there, 15 minutes from our house. So I called them, and they said they had educational programs almost every morning for preschoolers. So I got a season pass, and we went often. One gorgeous spring day, we went, and they had a big sign out. All the educational programs were canceled that day. No problem. The zoo's an education in itself, and there was going to be no problem with kid interaction because every mommy in Salt Lake City with her multiple toddlers on this beautiful day had the same idea I did, so it was packed. So I told my little boys, pick one section that you want to go to. Small miracle. They both agreed. They wanted to go to the big cat section. So we started with the lions. It was odd. I never saw such calm, peaceful lions in my life. They had this look on their face, like they were satisfied. And I thought, whatever the hell they gave those lions, I want, because the zoo was a zoo. And I was clutching my little boy's hands really tight so that I wouldn't lose them. And all of a sudden, from behind me, I heard this loud screaming like someone was being murdered. And immediately, my little boys let go of my hands, and they ran in that direction. And I'm trying to frantically run after them, but they're little, and they're darting in between the kids, and I'm trying not to step on one or knock one over. And I finally catch up to them. They're at the cougar cage. They're right up front. They have their little hands gripped tightly on the bars. Their little faces are pressed in between, and they're mesmerized as they watch Daddy Cougar pounding the heck out of Mommy Cougar, and she's screaming her head off. And I think, oh, shit, because I knew my 3-year-old, all he did all day was ask questions frequently. And my 5-year-old, the kid that just turned 5, he scared the shit out of me. I was fairly certain that 2 brilliant parents got my kid, and I got theirs by mistake. He knew everything from day one. I never knew what was coming out of his mouth. Now, I felt the big brown eyes of my adorable 3-year-old gazing up at me. I didn't want to look. I knew what he was going to ask. But he was a bit irresistible, so I looked down. He goes, Mom, what are they doing? No, I wasn't going to get into the facts of life with my toddlers at the zoo. This was the advantage of having sons. When they were old enough, their dad would do it. So I leaned down as quietly as I could because I didn't want my 5-year-old to hear what I was going to tell the 3-year-old. And I said, they're playing. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And I probably would have gotten away with it. Except my smarty pants 5-year-old had good hearing too. Now I felt his hazel eyes piercing through me. And I'd look over and this is what he looked like. He had this disgusted look on his face like he knew I possibly couldn't be his real mom because his real mom would be so dumb. He looks up at me and he goes, Mom, they're not playing, they're mating. He had to emphasize it like I didn't know what they were doing. So I looked at my 3-year-old and he goes, Mom, what's mating? Now, I deferred to my 5-year-old, and I gave him a look like, okay, bucko, you started this. You're going to have to explain to your little brother what mating is. He already assumed I didn't know. Kind of pushes me back, and he goes, Adam, the daddy cougar's planting a seed in the mommy cougar. In a couple months, she's going to have a baby cougar. How the hell did he know this? He just turned 5. Now, I looked at my 3-year-old. He wasn't done yet. He said, why is the mommy cougar screaming so loud? I couldn't wait to hear this one. He goes, look at the daddy cougar. He's smiling. And I looked and I thought, shit, he really was. And he said, look at the mommy cougar. She's not smiling. He goes, the daddy cougar likes it a lot, but the mommy cougar doesn't like it at all. That's why she's screaming. I thought that was brilliant too. So I looked at my 3-year-old. He was done. But the cougars weren't. So I said, okay, let's go to another cage. Didn't matter. The jaguars, the leopards, they were all doing it except the lions, who obviously had done it earlier. So I said, let's go to another part of the zoo. No, they just wanted to stay and watch the big cats mate. So I thought, okay, they seem to know everything. But none of the other little kids did. So they might not have had an educational program that day scheduled, but every time one of those little kids asked the most frequently asked question of the morning, one of my little boys would holler back, "They're mating." Thank you.